Welcome to the Wasteland Theatre Company's production of William Shakespeare's Richard III, or, as we like to call it, Richard the Ghoul. In our play, we discard the original ranks and titles of the characters. Nobody here in the Wasteland knows or cares about lords and ladies, dukes and duchesses, or Lancasters, Plantagenets, and Yorks of the 15th century England. Those royal lines burned with the old world long ago. But who the characters are, what they think, and how they act are timeless to this day. Our production follows Richard the Ghoul as he manipulates and murders his way to become the so-called king of the settlement of Philly in the new California Republic. Following a brief war between do-good vault dwellers who sought to restore the old world to the settlement of Philly, and tough and wild wastelanders who live there, a time of peace is established where dweller, survivors, and others live together. But Richard will have none of that. As he watches his brother take the title of the king, he plots to kill his own siblings, the king's family, and anyone who stands in his way to assume his title. In his opening monologue, Richard the Ghoul speaks to his disfigured form that characterizes his villainous existence and actions. But in the disfigured and ugly world we live in today, charred by fire, radiation, and hate, where we push each other down instead of showing compassion and understanding, maybe we are all villains. Richard is bad, there is no doubt. But aren't we all? We may not live in a time of wars between roses, but today we fight each other for bread. But let our play today remind us that in times of darkness and villainy, when we look in the mirror, we might all see a little bit of Richard III looking back at us. And we must ask ourselves if that is who we truly want to see. And now I present William Shakespeare's Richard the Ghoul.
Anne said the settlement Philly is just yonder.
Yes, and now it's safe for dwellers. They welcome us now.
My boy! Edward! No!
Vault dwellers? I thought all you were dead.
Thus begins our rendition of William Shakespeare's Richard III, or Richard the Ghoul.
Now is the nuclear winter of our discontent, made glorious summer by this son of a bitch. Now are our brows bound with victorious wreaths, our bruised arms hung up for monuments, our stern alarms changed to Mary Kim-induced meetings, our dreadful marches to delightful measures. Grim-visaged war hath soothed his wrinkled front, and now, instead of mounting barbed steeds to fright the souls of fearful adversaries, he capers nimbly in a lady's bedchamber to the lascivious pleasing of a lute. But I, that am not shaped for sportive tricks, nor made to court an amorous looking-glass, I, that am rudely stamped and want love's majesty to strut before a wanton ambling nymph, I, that am curtailed of this fair proportion, cheated of feature by dissembling nature, deformed, unfinished, sent before my time into this breathing world scarce half made up, and that so lamely and unfashionable that dogs bark at me as I halt by them. Why I, in this weak piping time of peace, have no delight to pass away the time, unless to see my shadow in the sun and descant on mine own deformity. Therefore, since I cannot prove a lover to entertain these fair, well-spoken days, I am determined to prove a villain and hate the idle pleasures of these days. Plots have I laid, inductions dangerous, by drunken prophecies, libels, and dreams, to set my brother Clarence George and the King of Philly in deadly hate, the one against the other. And if King Edward of Philly be as true and just as I am subtle, false, and treacherous, this day should my little brother Clarence George closely be mewed up about a prophecy which says that G of Edward's heirs the murderer shall be. Dive thoughts down to my soul. Here Clarence. Brother! Good day to you, sir. What means this armed guard that waits upon your grace?
His Majesty, tendering my person's safety, hath appointed this conduct to convey me to the Tower.
Upon what cause?
Because my name is George, Clarence George, G.
Alack, my lord, that fault is none of yours. But what's the matter, Clarence? May I know?
Yea, Richard, when I know, for I protest, as yet I do not. But, as I can learn, he hearkens after prophecies and dreams, and from the crossrow plucks the letter G, and says a wizard told him that by G his issue disinherited should be. And for my name of George begins with G, it follows in his thought that I am he. These, as I learn, and such like toys as these, hath moved His Highness to commit me now.
Why, this it is when men are ruled by women. 'Tis not the king that sends you to the Tower. It's Elizabeth Grey, his wife, Clarence. 'Tis she that tempers him to this extremity. We are not safe, Clarence. We are not safe.
By heaven, I think there is no man secure.
I'll tell you what. I think it is our way, if we will keep in favor with the king, to be her men and wear her livery. The jealous o'erwhelmed widow Anne and herself, since that our brother dubbed them gentlewomen, are mighty gossips in our settlement. He even jailed good Lord Hastings, who was just released today because of those women's gossip.
I beseech you gentlemen both to pardon me. That was a little bit sexist, but aside from that, His Majesty hath straitly given in charge that no man shall have private conference of what degree soever with your brother.
Even so, and please, Captain Brackenbury, you may partake of anything we say. We speak no treason, man. We say the king is wise and virtuous, and his noble queen well struck in years fair, and not jealous.
I do beseech you gentlemen to pardon me, and withal forbear your conference with the good Clarence.
We know thy charge, Brackenbury, and will obey.
Brother, farewell. I will unto the king, and whatsoe'er you will employ me in, I will perform it to enfranchise you. Meantime, this deep disgrace in Brotherhood touches me deeper than you can imagine.
I know it pleaseth neither of us well.
Well, your imprisonment shall not be long. I will deliver you or else lie for you. Meantime, have patience.
I must, perforce. Farewell.
Go. Tread the path that thou shalt ne'er return. Simple, plain Clarence George, I do love thee so that I will shortly send thy soul to heaven, if heaven will take the present at our hands. Oh, but who comes here? Oh, the new freed from prison Hastings.
Good day to you, sir. Richard the Ghoul?
As much unto you, my old friend. Well, are you welcome to the open air? How hath you brooked imprisonment?
With patience, as prisoners must. But I shall live to give them thanks that they were the cause of my imprisonment.
No doubt, no doubt. And so shall Clarence George too, for they that were your enemies are his, and have prevailed as much on him as you.
More pity that the eagles should be mewed, while kites and buzzards prey at liberty.
Oh, what's the news abroad?
No news so bad abroad as this at home. The king is sickly, weak, and melancholy. His physicians fear him mightily.
Now, by Adam, that news is bad indeed. He hath kept an evil diet long, and overmuch consumed his royal person. 'Tis very grievous to be thought upon. Where is he? In his bed?
He is.
Go you before, and I will follow you. He cannot live, I hope, and must not die, till Clarence George be packed with post-horse up to heaven. I will aim to urge his hatred more to Clarence George, with lies well steeled with weighty arguments. And if I fail not in my deep intent, Clarence George hath not another day to live. Which done, God take the King Edward to his mercy, and leave the world for me to bustle in. For then I'll marry the old overseer's youngest daughter, Anne. What? Though I kill her husband and her father? The readiest way to make the wench amends is to become her husband and her father. The which will I, not all so much for love as for another secret close intent, by marrying her, which I must reach unto. But yet I run before my horse to cart. Clarence George still breathes. King Edward still lives and reigns over Philly. When they are gone, then must I count my gains.
Set down your honorable load. If I may be shrouded in a hearse, whilst I awail, obsequiously lament the untimely fall of our virtuous overseer. Poor key-cold figure of a noble overseer, pale ashes of Vault 33, shotgunned by the self-same hand that made these wounds. Oh, cursed be the hand that made these holes, cursed the heart that had the heart to do it, cursed the blood that let this blood from hence. If ever he have a wife, let her be made more miserable by the death of him than I am made by my young lord and thee.
Annie, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?
Foul devil, for God's sake, hence and trouble us not, for thou hast made the happy earth thy hell, filled it with cursing cries and deep exclaims. If thou delight to view thy heinous deeds, behold this pattern of thy butcheries.
Lady, you know no rules of charity, which renders good for bad, blessings for curses.
Villain, thou knowest nor law of God nor of man, no beast so fierce but knows some touch of pity.
But I know none, and therefore am no beast.
Oh, wonderful when devils tell the truth.
Oh, wonderful when angels are so angry. Vouchsafe divine perfection of a woman, of these supposed crimes to give me leave by circumstance, but to acquit myself.
Vouchsafe diffused infection of a man, of these known evils, but to give me leave by circumstance to curse thy cursed self.
Say that I slew them not.
Then say that they were not slain, but dead they are, and, devilish slave, by thee.
I did not kill your husband.
Why then, he is alive.
Nay, he is dead, and slain by Edward's hand.
In thou foul throat thou liest. Mama Margaret saw thy murderous sawed-off gunning him down.
I was provoked by her slanderous and junky tongue that laid their guilt upon my guiltless shoulders.
Thou was provoked by thy bloody mind, that never dream'st on aught but butcheries. Didst thou not kill this overseer?
I grant you.
Dost grant me, hedgehog? Then God grant me too, thou mayest be damned for that wicked deed. Oh, he gentle, mild, and virtuous?
The better for the King of heaven that hath him.
He is in heaven, where thou shalt never come.
Let him thank me that holp to send him thither, for he was fitter for that place than earth.
And thou unfit for any place but hell.
Yes. Oh, one place else, if you will hear me name it.
Some dungeon?
Your bedchamber.
I'll rest betide the chamber where thou liest.
So will it, madam, till I lie with you.
I hope so.
I know so. Oh, but gentle Anne, is not the causer of the timeless deaths of these vault dwellers, Henry and Edward, as blameful as the executioner?
Thou wast the cause and most accursed effect.
Your beauty was the cause of that effect. Your beauty that did haunt me in my sleep, to undertake the death of all the world so I might live 1 hour in your sweet bosom.
If I thought that, I tell thee, homicide. These nails should rend that beauty from my cheeks.
These eyes could not endure that beauty's rack. You should not blemish it if I stood by. As all the world is cheered by the sun, so I by that. It is my day, my life.
Black night o'ershade thy day, and death thy life.
Curse not thyself, fair creature. Thou art both.
I would I were, to be revenged on thee.
It is a quarrel most unnatural to be revenged on him that loveth thee.
It is a quarrel just and reasonable to revenge it on him that killed my husband.
He that bereft thee, lady, of thy husband did it to help thee to a better husband.
His breath doth not breathe upon the earth.
He lives that loves thee better than he could.
Name him.
The Ghoul.
Where is he?
Here.
Pugh.
Oh, why dost thou spit at me?
Would it were mortal poison for thy sake.
Never came poison from so sweet a place.
Never hung poison on a fouler toad. Out of my sight, Ghoul. Thou dost infect mine eyes.
Thine eyes, sweet lady, have infected mine. Vouchsafe to wear this ring and marry me.
To take is not to give. I accept.
Oh, look how my ring encompasseth thy finger. Even so thy breast encloseth my poor heart. Wear both of them, for both of them are thine. Bid me farewell.
'Tis more than you deserve. But since you teach me how to flatter you, imagine I have said farewell already.
Was ever woman in this humor wooed? Was ever woman in this humor won? I'll have her, but I will not keep her long. What, I that killed her husband and her father, to take her in her heart's extremest hate, with curses in her mouth, tears in her eyes, the bleeding witness of my hatred by, having God, her conscience, and these bars against me? And I, no friends to back my suit withal, but the plain devil and dissembling looks. And yet, to win her, all the world is nothing. Shine out, fair sun, till I have bought a glass, that I may see my shadow as I pass.
Have patience, madam. There's no doubt your husband, the king, will soon recover his accustomed health.
In that you brook it ill, it makes him worse. Therefore, for God's sake, entertain good comfort, and cheer him with quick and merry eyes.
If he were dead, what would betide on me?
No harm, but loss of such a good lord.
The loss of such a lord includes all harms.
Here comes Buckingham.
Good day to you.
Saw you the king today, Buckingham?
But now I am come from visiting his majesty.
What likelihood of his amendment?
Madam, good hope. His grace speaks cheerfully.
God grant him health. Did you confer with him?
Aye, madam. He desires to make atonement between the Ghoul and your brothers, and between them and Hastings.
Would all were well, but that will never be. I fear our happiness is at the height.
They do me wrong, and I will not endure it. Who is it that complains unto the king that I, forsooth, am stern and love them not. By holy Adam, they love his grace but lightly that fill his ears with such dissentious rumors, because I cannot flatter and look fair, smile in men's faces, smooth skin, deceive, and cog, duck with French nods and apish courtesy. I must be held a rancorous enemy?
To whom in all this presence speaks your grace?
To thee, that hast neither honesty nor grace. When have I injured thee? When done thee wrong? Or thee? Or any of your faction, a plague unto you all.
Richard the Ghoul, you mistake the matter. The king makes him to send, that he may learn the ground.
I cannot tell. The world is grown so bad that wrens make prey where eagles dare not perch. Since every jack became a gentleman, there's many a gentle person made a jack.
Come, we know your meaning, Brother Ghoul. You envy my advancement and my friends. God grant we never may have need of you.
Meantime, God grants that we have need of you. Our brother is imprisoned by your means, myself disgraced.
I never did incense the king against Clarence George, but have been an earnest advocate to plead for him. My lord, you do me shameful injury, falsely to draw me in these vile suspects.
You may deny that you were not the mean of my Lord Hastings' late imprisonment?
My Lord Ghoul, I have too long borne your blunt upbraidings and your bitter scoffs. By heaven, I will acquaint the king of those gross taunts that oft I have endured. I had rather be a country servant maid than a great queen with this condition, to be so baited, scorned, and stormed at.
You were queen, or your husband king. I was a pack horse in his great affairs, a weeder out of his proud adversaries, a liberal rewarder of his friends. To royalize his blood, I spent mine own.
As little joy, my lord, as you suppose you should enjoy were you this settlement's king, as little joy you may suppose in me that I enjoy being the queen thereof.
I can no longer hold me patient. Hear me, you wrangling pirates, that fall out in sharing that which you have piled from me. Which of you trembles, not that looks on me? If not that I am queen, you bow like subjects, yet that by you disposed, you quake like rebels. Ah, gentle villain, do not turn away.
Foul, wrinkled witch. You have taken one too many chems. Your jet-induced prophecies are typical of ragged old chem-junkied wasteland hags. You filthy bucket of jet.
A husband and a son thou owest me, and thou a kingdom. All of you allegiance. The sorrow that I have by right is yours, and all the pleasures you usurp are mine. What? Were you snarling all before I came? Ready to catch each other by the throat? And turn you all your hatred now on me? Can curses pierce the clouds and enter heaven? Why then? Quick curses. Why then, dull clouds, quick curses, come to me quickly. Though not by war, by Sir Fit-die your king. Edward, thy son, will die in his youth by untimely violence. Thyself a queen. For me, that was a queen, outlive thy glory like my wretched self. Long die thy happy days before thy death, and after many lengthened hours of grief, die neither mother, wife, nor Philly's queen.
Have done thy charm, thou hateful, withered hag.
And leave out thee? Stay, dog, for thou shalt hear me. If heaven have any grievous plague in store, exceeding those that I can wish upon thee, oh, let them keep it till thy sins be ripe, and then hurl it down there in their indignation on thee, the troubler of the world's peace. Thou elvish marked abortive rooting hog, thou wasp sealed in thy nativity, thou slanderer of thy heavy mother's womb, thou loathed issue of thy father's loins, thou rag of honor, thou detested.
Mama Margaret.
Richard,
Yes?
I call thee not.
I cry thee mercy then, for I did think that thou hadst called me all these bitter names.
Why, so I did, but looked for no reply. Oh, let me make the period to my curse.
'Tis done by me and ends in Margaret.
Thus have you breathed your curse against yourself.
Poor painted queen, vain flourish of my fortune. Why strewest thou sugar on that bottled spider whose deadly web ensnareth thee? Oh, fool, thou wettest a knife to kill thyself. The day will come that thou shalt wish for me to help thee curse this poisonous hunchback toad.
Peace, peace, if not for shame, if not for charity.
Urge neither charity nor shame to me. My charity is outrage, life my shame, and in that shame still live my sorrow's rage.
Have done, have done.
Oh, princely Buckingham, I'll kiss thy hand in sign of league and amity with thee. Now fair befall thee and thy noble house. Oh, Buckingham, take heed of yonder dog. Look, when he fawns, he bites, and when he bites, his venom tooth will rankle to the death. Have not to do with him. Beware of him. Sin, death, and hell have set their marks on him, and all their ministers attend them.
What does she say, Mr. Buckingham?
Nothing that I respect, my gracious lord.
Oh, but remember this another day, when he shall split thy very heart with sorrow, and say, poor Mama Margaret was a prophetess. Live each of you the subjects to his hate, and he to yours, and all of you to God's.
Jesus! My hair doth stand on end to hear her curses.
So doth mine. I muse why she at liberty.
I cannot blame her. By God's holy mother, she hath had too much wrong, and I repent my part thereof that I have done to her.
I never did her any, to my knowledge.
Yet you have all the vantage of her wrong.
'Tis time. His Majesty doth call for me, and for your grace, and yours, my gracious lords. Gentlemen, will you go with me?
We wait upon your grace.
The secret mischiefs that I set abroach I lay unto the grievous charge of others. I do beweep to many simple gulls and tell them 'tis the Queen and her allies that stir the king against Clarence George. Now they believe it, and withal wet me. But then I sigh, and with a piece of scripture tell them that God bids us do good for evil. And thus I clothe my naked villainy with odd old ends stolen forth of holy writ. and seems a saint when most I play the devil. Oh, but soft, here come the bounty hunters. How now, my hardy, stout resolved mates? Are you now going to dispatch this thing?
We are, my lord.
Good. When you have done, return to flee. But sirs, be sudden in the execution. With all, abjure it. Do not hear him plead, for Clarence George is well spoken, and perhaps may move your hearts to pity if you mark him.
Tut, tut, my lord. We will not stand to prate. Talkers are no good doers. Be assured, we go to use our hands, not our tongues.
I like you, lads. About your business straight. Go, dispatch.
We will, my noble lord. What? Shall I stab him when he sleeps?
No. He'll say 'twas done cowardly when he wakes.
Why, she'll never wake until the great judgment day.
Why then he'll say we stabbed him sleeping.
The urging of the word judgment has bred a kind of remorse in me.
What? Art thou afraid?
Not to kill him, having a warrant, but to be damned for killing him.
I thought that had been resolute.
So I am, to let him live.
I'll back to the ghoul and tell him so.
Wait, nay, hang on. I prithee, stay a little. I hope this passionate humor of mine will change.
How dost thou feel thyself now?
Faith, some certain dregs of conscience are still in me.
Remember our reward when the deed's done.
Zounds, he dies. I'd forgot the reward.
Where's thy conscience now?
Oh, in the ghoul's purse.
When he opens his purse to give us our reward, thy conscience flies out.
Come, shall we fall to work?
Bob him on the head with the butt of your gun, then feed him to the Venus flytrap.
Oh, nice, excellent device. Making plant food of him.
Soft, he wakes.
Strike.
No, we'll reason with him.
In God's name, what art thou?
A man, as you are.
But not as I am royal.
Nor you as we are loyal.
Thy voice is thunder, but thy looks are humble.
My voice is now the king's, mine looks mine own.
How darkly and how deadly dost thou speak? Your eyes do menace me. Why look you pale? Who sent you hither? Wherefore do you come?
To
murder me?
Yeah.
You scarcely have the hearts to tell me so, and therefore cannot have the hearts to do it. Wherein, my friends, have I offended you?
Offended us you have not, but the king.
I shall be reconciled to him again.
Never, my lord. Therefore, prepare to die.
What is my offense? To threaten me with death is most unlawful.
What we will do, we do upon command.
And he that hath commanded is our king.
If you do love my brother, the king, hate not me. I am his brother, and I love him well. If you are hired for caps, go back again, and I will send you to my brother the Ghoul, who shall reward you better for my life than the king will for tidings of my death.
You are deceived. Your brother the Ghoul hates you.
Oh no, he loves me and he holds me dear. Go you to him from me.
Come, you deceive yourself. 'Tis he that sends us to destroy you here.
cannot be. He bewept my fortune and hugged me in his arms and swore with sobs that he would labor my delivery.
Why, so he doth, when he delivers you from this earth's thraldom to the joys of heaven.
Make your peace with God, for you must die.
Have you that holy feeling in your souls that you will war with God by murdering me?
Oh, shit, dude. He's got a point. Okay, what do we do?
Relent and save your souls.
Relent? No! 'Tis cowardly and womanish!
Not to relent is beastly, savage, devilish. My friend, I spy some pity in thy looks.
Look behind you, my lord.
Take that! And that! And that! Stupid prince! Get. How now? What means thou that helps me not? By heavens, the ghoul shall know how slack you have been, and when I have my caps, I will away, for this will out, and then I must not stay.
Good morrow to my sovereign king and queen, and princely peers, a happy time of day.
Happy indeed, as we have spent the day.
A blessed labor, my most sovereign lord. Among this princely heap, if any here by false intelligence or wrong surmise hold me a foe, if I unwittingly or in my rage have aught committed that is hardly borne by any in this presence, I desire to reconcile me to his friendly peace. First, madam, I entreat true peace of you, my royal noble cousin Buckingham, of you, and you, Rivers and Grey, dukes, earls, lords, gentlemen, indeed, of all. I thank my God for my humility.
A holy day shall this be kept hereafter. My sovereign lord, I do beseech your highness to take our brother Clarence George to your grace.
Why, madam, Clarence George is dead.
Is Clarence George dead? The order was reversed.
But he, poor man, by your first order died. Eaten by a fly trap he was.
My brother killed no man. His fault was thought, and yet his punishment was bitter death. Come, Hastings. Help me to my closet. Oh, poor Clarence George.
This is the fruit of rashness. Come, Buckingham, will you go to comfort King Edward with our company?
Wait upon your grace.
Good Grandma, tell us, is our father dead?
No, grandchild.
Why do you weep so oft, and beat your breast, and cry, "Oh, Clarence, my unhappy son"? Why do you look on me and shake your head, and call me orphan, wretch, castaway, if my noble father were alive?
I do lament the sickness of the king, as loath to lose him, not your father's death.
Then you conclude, my grandma, he is dead. The king, mine uncle, is to blame for it. God will revenge it.
Oh, peace, child, peace. The king thou love you well. You cannot guess who caused your father's death.
Grandma, I can. For my good uncle, the Ghoul, told me the king provoked it to by the queen. And when my uncle told me so, he wept, and pitied me, and kindly kissed my cheek.
Oh, that deceit should steal such gentle shape, and with a virtuous visor hide deep vice.
Think you my uncle did dissemble, Grandma?
Aye, boy.
I cannot think it. Hark, what noise is this?
What means the scene of rude impatience?
To make an act of tragic violence, Edward, my lord, thy son, the king, is dead.
Clarence and Edward! Oh, what cause have I, thy being but moiety of my moan, to overgrow thy wounds and drown thy cries?
What stay had I but Edward, and he's gone?
What stay had we but Clarence, and he is gone?
What stay had I but they, and they are gone?
Was never widow had so dear a loss.
Were never orphans had so dear a loss.
What never mother had so dear a loss.
Sister, have comfort. All of us have cause to wail the dimming of our shining star, but none can help our harms by wailing them.
We must forthwith the young prince be fet hither to be crowned our king.
Then be it so.
My lord, whoever journeys to the prince, for God's sake, let us not too stay at home.
Toward the tower then, for we'll not stay behind.
Good morrow, neighbor. Whither away so fast?
I promise you I scarcely know myself. Hear you the news abroad?
Yes, the king is dead.
Ah, sir, it is too true. God help the while.
By God's good grace, his son shall reign.
Woe to that land that's governed by a child.
In him there is a hope of government, and in his full and ripened years himself no doubt shall bend, and till then govern well.
His advisors, his uncles, oh, full of danger is the Ghoul, and the queen's sons and brothers hot and proud. Were they to be ruled and not to rule this sickly land, might solace as before.
No. Oh, I long with all my heart to see the prince. I hope he is much grown since last I saw him. Here comes a messenger. What news? News, sir?
Such news, my lady, as grieves me to report.
How doth the prince?
Well, madam, and in health.
What is thy news?
Rivers and Grey are sent to the tower, and with them Vaughan as prisoners.
Oh, who doth commit them?
The Ghoul and Buckingham.
Oh, for what offense?
The sum of all I have disclosed.
Ay me, I see the ruin of my house. Welcome destruction, blood, and massacre. I see as the map the end of all. I will away with my young Prince Yorkie. We will to sanctuary in the Commonwealth. Madam, farewell.
Welcome, sweet prince, to your chamber.
Welcome, dear cousin. The weary way hath made you melancholy.
No, uncle. but our crosses on the way have made it tedious, wearisome, and heavy. I want more uncles here to welcome me.
Sweet prince, the untainted virtue of your years hath not yet divided into the world's deceit. Those uncles which you want were dangerous. God keep you from them and from such false friends.
God keep me from false friends, but they were none. I thought my mother Elizabeth and my brother, young York, were long ere met us along the way. Fie, what slug is Hastings that he comes not to tell us whether they will come or no?
And in good time, here comes the sweating Hastings.
Welcome, my lord. What, will our mother come?
No. The Queen, your mother, and your brother young York have taken to sanctuary in the Commonwealth.
Fie, what an indirect and peevish course this is of hers. Persuade the Queen to send the young York unto his princely brother presently. If she deny, Hastings, go with him, and from her jealous arms pluck him perforce.
Good lord, make all the speedy haste you may. Say, Uncle Richard, if our brother come, where shall we sojourn till our coronation?
If I may counsel you, some day or two your highness shall repose you at the tower.
I do not like the tower of any place. Did Caesar build that place, my lord?
He did, boy, begin that place which, since succeeding ages have re-edified.
Is it upon record or else reported successfully from age to age he built it?
Upon record, my gracious lord.
So wise, so young, they say, do never live long.
What say you, uncle?
I say, without characters, fame lives long. Thus, like a formal vice iniquity, I moralize two meanings in one word.
Now, in good time, here comes the young York.
Hi, Yorkie. How fares our loving brother?
Well, my dread lord, so must I call you now.
Aye, brother, to our grief, as it is yours.
What? Will you go into the tower, my lord?
My lord protector needs will have it so.
I shall not sleep in quiet at the tower.
Why? What should you fear?
Mary, my Uncle Clarence George's angry ghost. My grandma told me he was murdered there.
I fear no uncle's dead.
Nor none that live, I hope.
And if they live, I hope I need not fear. But come, Yorkie, with a heavy heart, thinking on them, go I unto the tower.
Well, we better let them rest. Come hither. Come on hither, Catesby. Thou knowest all reasons urged upon the way. What thinkest thou? Is it not an easy matter to make Hastings of our mind?
He, for his father's sake, so loves the prince that he will not be one to aught against him.
Well then, no more but this. Go, gentle Catesby, and summon Hastings tomorrow to the tower to sit about the coronation, and give us notice of his inclination.
Tell him, Catesby.
My good lords both, with all the heed I can.
Now, my lord, what shall we do if we perceive Lord Hastings will not yield to our complots?
Chop off his head, or something. We will determine. Come, let us sup between times, that afterwards we may digest our complots in some form.
Good morrow, Hastings.
Good morrow, Catesby. You are early stirring. What news? What news in this our tottering state?
It is a reeling world indeed, my lord, and I believe we will never stand upright till Richard wear the pompadour wig of the realm.
How? Wear the pompadour wig? Dost thou mean the crown?
Aye, my good lord. as the king. And thereupon he sends you this good news, that the same very day your enemies, the kindred of the queen, Rivers, Grey, and Vaughan, must die.
Indeed, I am no mourner for that news, because they have been still my adversaries. But that I'll give my voice on Richard's side, God knows I will not do it. To the death.
God keep your lordship in that gracious mind.
But I shall laugh at this a 12-month hence, that they which brought me and my master's hate, I live to look upon their tragedy.
'Tis a vile thing to die, my gracious lord, when men are unprepared and look not for it.
Oh, monstrous, monstrous! And so 'twill do with some men, else that think themselves as safe as thou and I, who, as thou knowest, are dear to princely Richard and to Buckingham.
The princes both make high account of you, for they account his head upon the bridge.
I know they do, and I have well deserved it. Hello, Buckingham. What, go you toward the tower?
I do, my lord, but long I cannot stay there. I shall return before your lordship thence.
Nay, like enough, for I stay dinner there.
Nay, like enough. And supper too, although thou knowest it's not. Come, will you go?
I'll wait upon your lordship.
Now that jet junkie Mama Margaret's curse way back in Act 1, Scene 3 is fallen upon our heads.
That was a really long scene. Too long, I thought, and it didn't make sense at the time, but now it totally makes sense.
Then curse she Richard, then curse she Buckingham, then curse she Hastings. Oh, remember God, to hear her prayer for them as now for us. Be satisfied, dear God, with our true blood, which, as thou knowest, unjustly must be spilt.
Make haste. The hour of death is expiate.
Come, Grey, come, Vaughan, let us here embrace. Farewell till we meet again in heaven.
Now, noble peers, the cause why we are met is to determine of the coronation. In God's name speak. When is the royal day?
Is all things ready for the royal time?
It is, and wants but nomination.
My lord.
My lord.
My lord.
My lord, my noble lords and cousins all, good morrow. I have been long a sleeper, but I trust my absent doth neglect no great design, which by my presence might have been concluded.
Had you not come upon your cue, my lord, William Hastings had pronounced your part, your voice, for crowning of the king.
Then my lord Hastings, no man might be bolder. His lordship knows me well and loves me well. Cousin Buckingham, a word with you. Catesby hath sounded Hastings in our business, and finds the testy gentleman so hot that he will lose his head ere give consent. His master's child, as worshipfully he terms it, shall lose the royalty of our settlement's throne. I pray you, tell me what they deserve that do conspire my death with devilish plots of damned witchcraft, and that have prevailed upon my body with their hellish charms.
The tender love I bear your grace, my lord, makes me most forward in this princely presence, to doom the offenders whosoever they be. I say, my lord, they have deserved death.
Then be your eyes the witness of their evil. Look how I am bewitched! Behold, mine face is like a blasted sapling withered up, and this is Edward's wife Elizabeth, that monstrous witch, that by their witchcraft thus have marked me.
If they have done this deed, my noble lord.
If thou protector of damned strumpet, talkest thou to me of Is? Thou art a traitor. Off with his head!
Mama Margaret, now thy heavy curse is lighted on poor Hastings' wretched head.
Come, dispatch. The ghoul would be at dinner. Make a short shrift. He longs to see your head.
Come, lead me to the block, Ratcliffe. Bear him my head. They smile at me who shortly shall be dead. Ah!
Come, cousin, canst thou quake and change thy color, murder thy breath in middle of a word, and then again begin and stop again, as if thou were distraught and mad with terror?
Tut, I can't counterfeit the deep tragedy and speak and look back and pry on every side, tremble and start at wagging of a straw, intending deep suspicion. Ghastly looks are at my service like enforced smiles, and both already in their offices at any time to grace my stratagems.
Ah, great. Here comes the mayor. They're gonna want a trial while I celebrate our most plotted execution.
Here's the head of that ignoble traitor, a dangerous and unsuspected Hastings.
So dear, I love the man. I must weep.
Well, he was the covertest sheltered traitor that ever lived. Would you imagine, or almost believe, were it not that by great preservation we live to tell it, that the subtle traitor this day had plotted in the council house to murder me and the ghoul?
Had he done so?
What? Think you we are raiders or cons? Or that we would against the form of law proceed thus rashly in the villain's death?
Now fair befall you, he deserved his death, and your good graces both have well proceeded to warn false traitors from the like attempts.
And to that end we wished your lordship here, to avoid the censures of the carping world.
Which, since you come too late of our intent, yet witness what you hear we did intend. And so, my good Lord Mayor, we bid farewell.
Go after, cousin Buckingham. The mayor towards the courthouse hies him in all posts. There, at your meetest vantage of the time, infer the bastardy of Edward's children. Tell them how Edward put to death a citizen only for saying he would make his son heir to the crown. Moreover, urge his hateful luxury and bestial appetite in charge of lust, which stretched unto their servants, daughters, wives, even where his raging eye or savage heart, without control, lusted to make a prey. Also, tell them that my mother is a whore, but do it subtly, like, the old Duchess is such a whore. She's still alive, so we should be a bit sensitive at all.
Doubt not, my lord. I'll play the orator as if the golden fee for which I plead were for myself. And so, my lord, adieu.
Now will I go to take some privy order to draw the brats of Clarence George out of sight, and to give order that no man or person have any time recourse unto the princes.
Here's the indictment of the good Lord Hastings, which in a set hand fairly is engrossed, that it may be today read o'er in the town square of Philly. And mark how well the squeal hangs together. 11 hours I have spent to write it over, for yesternight by Catesby it was sent to me. Ergo, the precedent was full as long a-doing, and yet within these 5 hours Hastings lived, untainted, unexamined, free at liberty. Here's a good world the while, who is so gross that cannot see this palpable device, yet who so bold, but says he sees it not. Bad is the world, and all will come to naught, when such ill dealing must be
That ought to shut up the stupid herald.
How now? What say the citizens?
Now, by the holy mother of our Lord, the citizens are mum, say not a word. The mayor is here at hand. Look you, get a prayer book in your hand, play the maid's part, still answer nay, and take it.
I go, and if you plead as well for them as I can say nay to thee for myself, no doubt we bring this to a happy measure.
I think the ghoul will not be spoke withal. He is praying like a good man. Now, Catesby, what says your lord to my request?
He doth entreat you, my noble lord, to visit him tomorrow or next day. He is within 2 right reverend fathers, divinely bent to meditation, and in no worldly suits would he be moved to draw him from his holy exercise.
Return, good Catesby, to the gracious duke. Tell him myself, the mayor, are come to have some conference with the ghoul.
I'll signify so much unto him straight.
Aha! My lord, this ghoul is not an Edward. He is not lolling on a lewd love bed, but on his knees at meditation, not sleeping to engross his idle body, but praying to enrich his watchful soul. Happy were our settlement would this virtuous prince become the king.
Mary, God defend the ghoul, should say us nay.
I fear he will. Oh, here come Catesby again. Now, Catesby, what says his grace?
He wonders to what end you have assembled. He fears, my lord, you mean no good to him.
By heaven, we come to him in perfect love. And so once more return and tell the ghoul.
What is your grace's pleasure?
We heartily solicit your gracious self to take on you the charge and kindly government of this your land, not as protector, steward, substitute, or lowly factor for another's gain, but as successively from blood to blood your right of birth, your empery, your own.
Definitively thus I answer you. Your love deserves my thanks, but my desert unmeritable shuns your high request. God be thanked, there is no need for me.
My lord, this argues conscience in your grace, but the respects thereof are nice and trivial, all circumstances well considered.
Do, good my lord, your citizens entreat you.
Refuse not, mighty lord, this proffered love.
Oh, make them joyful. Grant their lawful suit.
Alas, why would you heap this care on me? I am unfit for state and majesty. I do beseech you, take it not amiss. I cannot, nor I will not yield to you.
If you refuse it, as in love and zeal know, where you accept our suit or no, your brother's son shall never reign our king. But we will plant some other in his throne, to the disgrace and downfall of your house. And in this resolution here we leave you.
Oh, do not swear, my lord of Buckingham.
Oh, call him again, sweet prince. Accept their suit. If you deny them, all the land will rue it.
Will you enforce me to a world of cares? Call them again. I am not made of stones, but penetrable to your kind entreaties, albeit against my conscience and soul. Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
Then I salute you with this royal title. Long live Richard the Ghoul, Philly's new king!
Amen!
Amen!
Come, let us to our holy work again.
Who meets us here? Oh, pure heart's love, to greet the tender prince? Well met.
God give your graces both a happy and joyful time of day.
As much to you, good sister. Whither away?
No farther than the tower, and, as I guess, upon the like devotion as yourselves, to gratulate the gentle princes there.
Kind sister, thanks. We'll enter all together. And in good time, here the captain of the guard comes. Captain, pray you, by your leave, how doth the prince and my young son of York?
Right well, dear madam. By your patience, I may not suffer you to visit them. The king hath strictly charged the contrary.
The king? Who's that?
The Ghoul.
Hath he set bounds between their love and me? I am their mother. Who shall bar me from them?
I am their father's mother. I will see them.
Their aunt I am in law, in love their mother. Then bring me to their sights. I'll bear thy blame and take thy offense from thee on my peril.
No, madam, no. I may not leave it so. I am bound by oath, and therefore pardon me.
Madam, you must straight to be crowned Richard the Ghoul's royal queen.
Cut my lace asunder, that my pent heart may have some scope to beat, or else I swoon with this dead-killing news.
Despiteful tidings, oh, unpleasing news.
Oh, ill-dispersing wind of misery! Oh, my cursed wound, the bed of death! The cockatrice hast thou hatched to the world, whose unavoidable eyes is murderous.
Okay. Come, madam, come. I, in all haste, was sent.
And I, with all unwillingness, will go. Oh, would to God that the inclusive verge of gold metal that must round my brow were hot red steel to smear me to the brains. Anointed, let me be with deadly venom, and die ere men can say, God save the Queen.
Go, go, poor soul. I envy not thy glory. To feed my humor, wish thyself no harm.
Adieu, poor soul, that tasked thy to leave it.
Oh, go to the Brotherhood at the Predwin, and good fortune guide thee. Bid them make haste, and go to the Richard, and make angels tend thee. And thou go to sanctuary, and good thoughts possess thee. I to my grave with peace and rest lie with me. 80 odd years of sorrow have I seen, and each hour's joys racked with a week of teen.
Stay, yet look back with me unto the tower. Pity you ancient stones, those tender babes, whom envy hath immured within your walls. Rough cradle for such little pretty ones.
Stand all apart. Cousin of Buckingham.
My gracious sovereign.
Here he ascendeth the throne, thus high by thy advice, and thy assistance is King Richard the Ghoul seated. I wear the pompadour crown of the kings, but shall we wear these glories for a day, or shall we last in them and rejoice in them?
Still live they, and forever let them last.
Ah, Buckingham, now do I play the touch, to try if thou be current gold indeed. Young Edward lives. Think now what I would speak.
Say on, my loving lord.
Why, Buckingham, I say I would be king.
Why, so you are, my thrice renowned lord.
Am I? Am I king? 'Tis so, but young Edward lives.
True, noble prince.
Bitter consequence that young Edward should still live, true noble prince. Cousin, thou wast not wont to be so dull. Shall I be plain? I wish the little bastard's dead, and I would have it suddenly performed. Well, what sayest now? Speak suddenly, be brief.
Your grace may do your pleasure.
Tut, tut, thou art all ice, thy kindness freezes. Say, I have thy consent that they shall die.
What, the little kids? Give me some little breath, some pause, dear lord, before I positively speak in this. I will resolve you herein presently.
The king is angry. See? He gnaws his lip.
High-reaching Buckingham grows circumspect. The deep revolving witty Buckingham no more shall be the neighbor to my counsels. Hath he so long held out with me, untired, and stops he now for breath? Well, be it so. How now? What's the news?
No, my loving lord. Your enemies, as I hear, have fled to the Brotherhood at the Pridwin where they abide.
Come hither, Catesby. Rumor it abroad that Anne, my wife, is very grievous sick. I will take order for her keeping close. Look how thou drink'st it. I say again, give out that Anne, my queen, is sick and like to die. Ah, perfect! Now I must be married to my brother's daughter, or else my kingdom stands on brittle glass. Murder her brothers, and then marry her. Uncertain way of gain, but I am in so far in blood that sin will pluck on sin. Tear-falling pity dwells not in this eye. Are you the bounty hunter, Tyrrell?
James Tyrrell, and your most obedient subject.
Art thou indeed?
Prove me, my gracious lord.
Darest thou resolve to kill a friend of mine?
Please you, but I'd rather kill 2 enemies.
Oh, why then, thou hast it. 2 deep enemies, foes to my rest, and my sweet sleep's disturbers, are they that I would have thee deal upon. Tyrrell, I mean those bastard boys in the tower.
Let me have open means to come to them, and soon I'll rid you from the fear of them.
Thou singest sweet music. Is there no more but so? Say it is done, and I will love thee and prefer thee for it.
I will dispatch it straight.
My lord, I have considered in my mind the late request that you did sound me in.
Well, let that rest. Dorset has fled to the Brotherhood's palace in Richmond.
I hear the news, my lord. Lord, I claim the gift, my due by promise, for which your honor and your faith is pawn, the earldom of another settlement, and the movables which you have promised that I shall possess. What says your highness to my just request?
I do remember me, Henry VI did prophesy that the Brotherhood's paladin Richmond should be king. When Richmond was a little peevish boy. A king, perhaps?
My lord?
How chance the prophet could not at that time have told me, I being by, that I should kill him?
My lord, your promise to me for the settlement?
Aye, what is the clock?
I'm thus bold to put your grace in mind of what you promised me.
Well, but what is the clock?
Upon the stroke of 10.
Well, let it strike.
Why let it strike?
Because that, like a jack, thou keepest the stroke betwixt thy begging and my meditation. I am not in the giving vein today.
Why then, resolve me whether you will or no.
Thou troublest me. I am not in the vein.
And is this thus? Repays he my deep service with such contempt? May I him king for this? Oh, let me think on Hastings and be gone to the con raiders while my fearful head is on.
What method? What method? 1, 2. The tyrannous and bloody act is done. The most arch deed of Pious massacre that ever yet this land was guilty of. I, who did sojourn to do this piece of ruthless butchery, am a flesh villain, a bloody dog. But still I melted with tenderness and mild compassion, and wept like a child in their death's sad story. A book of prayers on their pillow lay, which once almost changed my mind, but oh, the devil! So in fear of proximity of such beauteous rest, where I was to see them so closely smothered, I instead jury-rigged C4 to each of their beds, kaboom! And so I left them both, to bear tidings to the bloody king. And here he comes, all health, my sovereign lord.
Kind Tyrrell, am I happy in thy news?
If to have done the thing you gave in charge, beget your happiness. Be happy then, for it is done.
But didst thou see them dead?
I jury-rigged C4 to each of their beds and blew them up, my lord.
And buried, gentle Tyrrell?
I, blew up with C4, my lord. Not much left to bury.
Come to me, Tyrrell, soon after supper. Then thou shalt tell the process of their death. Meantime, think how I may do thee good, and be inheritor of thy desires. Farewell till then.
I humbly take my leave.
The son of Clarence George have I pent up close. His daughter meanly have I matched in marriage. The sons of dead King Edward blown to the clouds, and Anne, my wife, hath bid this world good night. Now, for I know the Brotherhood's Richmond aims at young Elizabeth, my brother's daughter, and by that nod looks proudly on the pompadour crown. To her I go, a jolly, thriving wooer.
My lord.
Good or bad news that thou comest in so bluntly?
Bad news, my lord. Morton is fled to Paladin Richmond, and Buckingham, backed with cons, is in the field, and still his power increaseth.
Alliances with the Brotherhood trouble me more near than Buckingham and his rash levied strength. Go, muster men. My counsel is my shield. We must be brief when traitors brave the field.
So now prosperity begins to mellow and drop into the rotten mouth of death. Here in these confines, slyly I have lurked to watch the warring of mine enemies. A dire induction am I to witness to, and will to the Brotherhood of Steel, hoping the consequence will prove as bitter, black, and tragical. Withdraw thee, wretched Margaret. Who comes here?
Ah, my poor princes! Ah, my tender babes! My unblown flowers, new appearing sweets! If yet your gentle souls fly in the air, and be not fixed in doom perpetual, hover about me with your airy wings, and hear your mother's lamentation.
Ugh. Hover about her. Blown to bits is more right, huh? Hath dimmed your infant morn to aged night.
So many miseries have crazed my voice, that my woad weary tongue is still and mute. Edward the King, why art thou dead?
Wilt thou, O God, fly from such gentle lambs, and throw them in the entrails of the wolf? When did thou sleep? when such a deed was done?
When the sweet overseer died, and my sweet son.
Oh, Harry's wife, triumph not in my woes. God witness with me, I have wept for thine.
Thy husband Richard, he is dead. Thy son Edward, the king, is dead. Thy Clarence, he is dead. My Henry, the overseer, dead. My son Edward from Vault 33, dead. Your two princes, dead. My sweet Anne, dead. Hasty Rivers, Fawn Gray, all untimely smothered in their dusky graves. Richard yet lives. Hell's black intelligencer, cancel his bond of life, dear God, I pray that I may live and say the dog is dead.
Oh, thou didst prophesy the time would come that I should wish for thee to help me curse.
Where is thy husband now? Where is thy brothers? Where are thy two sons? Wherein dost thou joy? Us hath the course of justice whirled about and left thee but very prey to time, having no more but thought of what wast, to torture thee more, being what thou art.
Who intercepts me in my expedition?
Oh, she that might have intercepted thee by strangling thee in her accursed womb, from all the slaughters, wretch, that thou hast done.
Tell me, thou villain slave, where are my children?
Thou toad, where is thy brother Clarence?
Where is the gentle Rivers, Vaughan, Gray?
Where is kind Hastings?
Let not the heavens hear these telltale women rail on the Lord's anointed. Either be patient and entreat me fair, or with the clamorous report of war, thus will I drown your exclamations.
Oh, let me speak.
Do then, but I will not hear.
I will be mild and gentle in my words.
And brief, good mother, for I am in haste.
Oh, art thou so hasty? I have stayed for thee, God knows, in torment and in agony.
And came I not at last to comfort you?
Thou camest on earth to make the earth my hell. A grievous burden was thy birth to me. Etchy and wayward was thy infancy. Thy age confirmed, proud, subtle, sly, and bloody, more mild, but yet more harmful, kind and hatred. What comfortable hours canst thou name, that ever graced me with thy company?
Well, that wasn't mild, gentle, or brief.
I prithee, hear me speak.
You speak too bitterly.
Hear me a word, for I shall never speak to thee again.
So?
Bloody thou art, bloody will be thy end. Shame serves thy life, and death thy death attend.
Though that be but little, that be fierce. Say, madam, I must talk a word with you.
I have no more sons of the royal blood for thee to slaughter.
You have a young daughter called Elizabeth, virtuous and fair, royal and gracious. Know that from my soul I love thy daughter.
What thou?
Even so, how think you of it? Let me marry my dear cousin.
What redneck shit is this? Her father's brother would be her lord? Or shall I say her uncle? Or he that slew her brothers and her uncles?
Well, according to our dramaturg, it was a very common practice in the 15th century for royals to marry their cousins. But anywho, tell her the king that may command entreats. Say, I will love her everlastingly.
Messing around with your cousin is not a sustainable long-term practice.
Well, sweetly enforce unto her fair life's end.
But how long fairly shall her sweet life last?
As long as heaven and nature lengthens it.
As long as hell and Richard likes of it.
Why then, by God, in your daughter consists my happiness and thine. Without her follows to myself and thee. Herself, the land, and many a Christian soul. Death, desolation, ruin, and decay. Worse than what the nuclear bombs did lay. It cannot be avoided but by this. It will not be avoided but by this.
Shall I be tempted of the devil thus?
Aye, if the devil tempts you to do good.
Shall I forget myself to be myself?
Aye, if your self's remembrance wrong yourself.
Yet thou didst kill my children.
But in your daughter's womb I bury them, where in that nest of spicery they will be bred themselves of themselves to your recomforture.
Shall I go win my daughter to thy will?
And be a happy mother by the deed.
I go. Write to me very shortly, and you shall understand from me her mind.
Bear to her my true love's kiss, and so farewell. Relenting fool and shadow-changing woman. Well, how now? What the news?
Most mighty sovereign, on the western coast flieth Brotherhood vertibirds. To our walls throng many doubtful, hollow-hearted friends, unarmed and unresolved to beat them back. 'Tis thought that Paladin Richmond is their commander, and there they hull, expecting but the aid of Buckingham to welcome them.
Let them... There let him sink, and be the sands on him, white-livered Rungate. What doth he is there?
I know not, mighty sovereign, but by guess.
Well, as you guess.
Stirred up by Dorset, Buckingham, and Morton, he makes for Philly here to claim the Pompadour crown.
Is the chair empty? Is the sword unswayed? Is the king dead? The empire unpossessed? Who is left alive but we? And who is Philly's king? It's me! Me! Where is thy power then to beat him back? Where be thy tenants and thy followers? Are they not now upon the western wall, safe conducting the rebels?
No, my good lord. My friends are in the north.
Oh, cold friends to me. What do they in the north when they should serve their sovereign in the west?
They have not been commanded, mighty king. Pleaseth your majesty to give me leave. I'll muster up my friends and meet your grace where and what time your majesty shall please.
Aye, thou wouldst be gone to join with Richmond's Brotherhood of Steel, but I'll not trust thee.
Most mighty sovereign, you have no cause to hold my friendship doubtful. I never was, nor never will be false.
Go then, and muster men, but leave behind your son. Look your heart be firm, or else his head's assurance is but frail.
So deal with him, as I prove true to you.
My gracious sovereign lord. Now in the wasteland, many Khans are in arms against you.
Curses!
The Bitter Springs groups are also in arms, and every hour more competitors flock to the Khans. And their power grows strong.
Curses!
And the Khan army of Great Buckingham.
Out on you! Owls! Nothing but songs of death. Thou bring me better news, or I'll have your head.
I have to tell your majesty is that by sudden floods and fall of waters, Buckingham's con army is dispersed and scattered, and he himself wandered away alone. No man knows whither.
Great! Good news! I was about to blow your freaking head off.
Oh, thank God.
March on! March on, since we are up in arms, if not to fight with foreign enemies, yet to beat down these rebels here at home.
Also, Paladin Richmond is with a mighty power landed at our walls?
Away! Towards the walls! While we reason here, a royal battle might be won and lost. Someone take order Buckingham be brought to me. The rest, march on with me!
Will not King Richard let me speak with him?
No, my good Buckingham. Therefore be patient.
Why then? Today is my body's doomsday. This is the day wherein I wish to fall by the false faith of him whom most I trusted. This doomsday to my fearful soul is the determined respite of my wrongs. Thus Mama Margaret's curse falls heavy on my neck. When he, quoth she, shall split thy heart with sorrow, remember that Junkie Jet Margaret was a prophetess. Come, lead me, sir, to the block of shame. Wrong hath but wrong, and blame the due of blame.
The truth is, Buckingham, the game was rigged from the start.
Fellows in arms, and my most loving friends, bruised underneath the yoke of tyranny, thus far into the bowels of the land, have we marched on without impediment? In God's name, cheerly on, courageous friends, to reap the harvest of perpetual peace by this one bloody trial of sharp war.
Every man's conscience is 1,000 men to fight against this guilty homicide. He hath no friends, but were friends for fear, which in his dearest need will fly from him.
All for our vantage, then in God's name march. True hope is swift and flies with swallows' wings. Kings it makes gods, and the meaner creatures kings.
Here, pitch our tent. When here in Bosworth Field. My Lord of Surrey, why look you so sad? Oh, there you are. Why are you so sad?
My heart is 10 times lighter than my looks.
Friend, we must have knocks, huh? Must we not?
We must both give and take, my loving lord.
Up with my tent. Here will I lie tonight, but where tomorrow? Well, all's one for that. Who hath descried the number of the traitors?
600 or 700 is their utmost power.
Why, our militia triples that account. Besides the king's name and a tower of strength, which they upon the adverse fraction want. Up with my tent. Come, noble gentlemen, let us survey the vantage of the ground. Call for some men of sound direction. Let's lack no discipline, make no delay. For lords, tomorrow is a busy day.
The weary sun hath made a golden set, and by the bright track of his fierce car gives token of a goodly day tomorrow. I'll draw form and model of our battle, limit each leader to his several charge, and pardon just proportion of all our small power. By the second hour in the morning, desire you all to see me in my tent. Yet one more thing, good captain, do for me. Where is Stanley quartered, do you know?
Unless I have mistaken his colors much, which well I am assured I have not done, his regiment lies half a mile at least, south from the mighty power of the king.
If without peril it be possible, Captain Oxford, make some good means to speak with him.
Upon my life, my lord, I will undertake it. And so God give you quiet rest tonight.
Now I consent upon tomorrow's business. Into my tent, the dew is raw and cold.
Catesby! What is the clock? Catesby, what is the clock?
It's supper time, my lord. It's 9 o'clock.
I will not sup tonight. Give me some ink and paper. Is all my armor laid into my tent?
It is, my liege, and all things are in readiness.
Good Ratcliffe, hie thee to thy charge. Use careful watch. Choose trusty sentinels.
I go, my lord.
Catesby!
My lord?
Send out a pursuivant at arms to Stanley's regiment. Bid him bring his power before sunrising, lest his son George fall into the blind cave of eternal night. So I am satisfied. Give me a bucket of chems. I have not the alacrity of spirit nor cheer of mind that I was wont to have. Bid my guard watch. Leave me, Ratcliffe. About the mid of night, come to my tent and help to arm me. Leave me, I say.
I'll strive with troubled thoughts to take a nap. Let's lead in slumber Pious me down tomorrow. When I should mount with wings of victory, ere I'll let fall the windows of my eyes. Sleeping and waking, oh, defend me still.
Thou leader of the Brotherhood of Steel, the wronged heirs of Philly do pray for thee. Be cheerful, Paladin Richmond, for the wronged souls of butchered princes fight in thy behalf. Good angels guard thy battle. Virtuous and holy, be thou conqueror. Live and flourish. Let me sit heavy in thy soul tomorrow. I that was fed to a giant Venus flytrap, poor Clarence George, by thy guile betrayed to death. Tomorrow in the battle, think on Edward and Henry.
I barely got to be in the play till now.
Rivers, Gray, and Vaughan.
Death by firing squad was kind of badass.
Think on thy wife, Anne.
I hope you run out of ammo.
Think on Eddie, Yorkie, Hastings, and Buckingham.
C4 on kids, bro?
And think on me. Let us be led within thy bosom, Ghoul, and weigh thee down to ruin, shame, and death. Fall thy edgeless sword. Despair and die. Despair and die. Despair and die. Despair.
Soft. I did but dream. Oh, coward conscience, how dost thou afflict me? I am a villain, yet I lie, I am not. A fool of thyself, speak well, fool, do not flatter. I shall despair. There is no creature loves me, and if I die, no soul will pity me. And wherefore should they, since that I myself find in myself no pity to myself? Methought the souls of all that I had murdered came to my tent, and every one did threat tomorrow's vengeance on the head of Richard the Ghoul.
My lord!
What sounds? Who's there?
Ratcliffe, my lord. 'Tis I. The early village cock hath twice done salutation to the morn. Your friends are up and buckle on their armor.
Oh, Ratcliffe, I have dreamed a fearful dream. What thinkest thou? Will our friends prove all true?
No doubt, my lord.
Ratcliffe, I fear. I fear.
Nay, good my lord, be not afraid of shadows.
By the apostles of the apocalypse, shadows tonight have struck more terror to the soul of Richard the Ghoul than can the substance of 10,000 soldiers armed and proof and led by shallow paladin Richmond.
The sweetest sleep and fairest boding dreams that ever entered in a drowsy head. Have I since your departure had, my lords? Methought their souls who bodies Richard murders came to my tent and cried on victory. I promise you my soul is very jocund in remembrance of so fair a dream. 'Tis time to arm and give direction. Loving countrymen, God, and our good cause fight upon our side. Richard the Ghoul, except from those we fight against, had rather have us win with him than follow. For what is he they follow, truly, gentlemen? A bloody tyrant and a homicide? One raised in blood and one in blood established. One that made means to come by what he hath, and slaughtered those that were the means to help him. If you do fight against the Brotherhood foes, the Brotherhood's fat shall pay your pains the higher. If you do fight in safeguard of your wives shall welcome home the conquerors. If you do free your children from the sword, your children's quitted in your age. Then, in the name of God and all these rights, advance your standards, draw your swords, sound the drums, and triumphantly and boldly and cheerfully, ad victoriam and onward to victory.
Ad victoriam.
Ad victoriam.
A black day will it be to somebody. Ratcliffe!
My lord!
The sun will not be seen today. The sky doth frown and lower upon our army. I would these dewy tears were from the ground. Not shine today? Ha! Why, what is that to me more than to Paladin Richmond? For the self-same heaven that frowns on me looks sadly upon him.
Arm, my lord! The foe vaunts in the field!
Come, bustle! Where's my horse? Call up Lord Stanley. Bring his power. I will lead forth my soldiers to the plain in the main battle, whose great prowess on either side shall be well winged with our chiefest horse. Oh, I remember before the war. Oh, how I remember my horse. We rode in the City of Angels. Oh, how in those days we had stables.
This note I found on my tent this morning.
I will read it. Jockey of Los Angeles, be not so bold, for Dick, thy master, is bought and sold. A thing devised by my enemy. Go, gentlemen, every man unto his charge. March on, join bravely. Let us to it pell-mell. If not to heaven, then hand in hand to hell. What more shall I say than more than I have inferred? The Brotherhood will take your freedom. And who doth lead them but a paltry paladin, long kept up in the Pridwin and cowardice? If we be conquered, let men conquer us, and not these bastard Brotherhood. Hark! I hear the drum. Fight, gentlemen of Philly! Fight! Behold! Cowboys! What says Lord Stanley? Will he bring his power?
My lord, he doth deny to come.
Off with his son George's head!
My lord, the enemy has passed the march. After the battle, let George Stanley die.
1,000 hearts are great within my bosom. Advance our standards, set upon our foes. Take your psycho buff and fight with the spleen of fiery dragons. Upon them, victory sits at our helms!
The king enacts more wonders than a man, daring and opposite to every danger. All on foot he fights, junked up on chems and memories from before the war. He was a rider, you know, before all the horses became extinct in the wasteland. He was a rider, they say, the ghoul was. Rescue, fair lord, or else the day is lost.
A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse!
He is delusional. Withdraw, my lord. I'll help you to a horse.
Slave, I have set my life upon a cast, and I will stand the hazard of the die! I think there be 6 or 7 paladin Richmonds in the field. 5 have I slewn today instead of him. A horse! A horse! My kingdom for a horse! Empty! Out of ammo!
Then die, ghoul, die! God and your arms be praised, victorious friend. The day is ours, and the bloody dog is dead.
Ad Victoriam, Paladin Richard, the king.
Thank you very much. Take the ghoul's Richard body and bury it in the parking lot. Proclaim a pardon to the soldiers fled. That in submission will return to us. We will unite the settlement of Philly, the Brotherhood, and the vault dwellers. And let us enrich the time to come with smooth-faced peace, with smiling plenty and fair, prosperous days. Now civil wounds are stopped, peace lives again, that she may long live here in the wasteland till the end.
We are back to live.
Okie dokie!
Okie dokie. My cursed womb.
That nest of spicery. Oh my god.
Spicery, yeah.
Mom of the Wasteland Award.
Gonna get a big old pan of our cast. Look at all these beautiful people.
That's freaking great.
And
Everyone dance on Richard and the director.
any of the audience wants to get on stage too, they can as well. Did you know Kels didn't realize that Bard teabagged her until just now?
I didn't know that until
She never noticed.
Wow.
We gotta add the insult to the injury. You know.
I was just busy
Teabagging,
responding.
yes.
It's not necessary.
And it's awesome.
Y'all are brilliantly amazing. I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched tonight. We had people coming and going all night. A great audience, so many familiar faces. Independent Fallout Wiki, a lot of streamers, a lot of Twitter friends. So many.
Yeah, thank you so much to everybody who showed up in the chat and participated.
Great job, guys.
Yes.
Thank you guys for sitting in the audience and watching too.
If you guys have any questions or anything for the crew, feel free and put them in.
Are we on the map? We're at Charleston. We're right next to Charleston Station.
Yeah, I need to.
Hot Rod has a question for you. How much camp
I
budget do you
have
have?
5 flamingo points left.
Enough for 5 chairs.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Great job, Brad.
I got something. Hold on, I got something to do. Hold on, one real quick. On the next time with the Wasteland Theatre Company. Dragon Ball.
Okie dokie.
Okie dokie.
Time on Dragon Ball.
Yes.
Oh, also, you know, he's in the audience, but shout out to North for your amazing adaptation, and everything you did along the way, as always.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you all.
Till next time.
Thank you.
Be dramatic.
See you soon.
How come no